capital to the periphery or the third world.
So you're talking about corporations that move beyond the borders of the
United States.
Okay.
And primarily, and I think this is the important point, many corporations and their allies in the media talk about how when we move to a country like India or we move to a country like China, that this is beneficial to those particular countries, that it brings a certain part of the population out of poverty. The point is, I think, which is important, is that the reason why companies leave the United States and go to China, go to Turkey, go to Vietnam or wherever, is because of profits. A worker that works, take for instance in Nike, when they were Nike shoe companies in America, many of these workers made $13 an hour. You can go to a place like Vietnam or Malaysia, and for that same tennis shoe, the workers there are making $8 a week. So clearly it's not in the interest of American workers to have globalization. We see the crunch in the 70s where massive amounts of the heavy industry in this country were exported to the third world, which had an impact specifically on minority communities. And now we're seeing white-collar jobs being exported in a massive amount to the third world. If you look at media, the commentaries on TV, the articles in newspapers, the editorials, they all say this is a good trend. But it's devastating large parts of the middle class in this country and the working class. Another aspect of this trend is what is happening to large sections of the working class in this country. We see the degradation, the marginalization of large parts of the working class, particularly in America's cities. And the massive cutbacks. We see a tendency, which is becoming a trend in this country, to move wealth from the bottom to the top. Now, many people in the United States, when they talk about our economic system, they think about capitalism in its infancy, that every man or woman who wanted to start his own business could. The fact of the matter is now that system does not exist. The multinationals that control the political, the economic center of our country do not want free competition. They want subsidies, they want privilege, and they want to continue to run this country in their way, in the same old way. And what we're saying is that right now a certain part of the population understands what is happening in this country, but we're going to reach a period where the vast majority of the working class will understand it. And then the question of socialism or some other system is going to come up.
You know, your remarks remind me of, I taped Robert Jensen. He's a professor who's now at the University of Texas in Austin, but he has Minnesota roots. He went to the University of Minnesota and he worked in Minnesota. He gave a lecture. He came back to the University of Minnesota and gave a lecture recently, and he talked about, he challenged students to try to solve a riddle, and the riddle was, why is it that if the United States has eliminated slavery, we have made this enormous strides in terms of you know, women's rights. The women have the right to vote, you know, and all these remarkable changes in American society, and yet the same people seem to be in control. The same group of people. When the country started, it was the wealthy white landowners who were the ones that had the right to vote and had all the control. And today, you know, more than 200 years into the history of the country, we look at who really has the power in the country, and it seems to be the same class of people. And why is that? After all these, you know, struggles, that we're still in the same place. So your dialogue made me think of Robert Jensen's riddle. Let's talk a little bit more about the plight of the working class, since that's kind of a motif that we've hit on. Jobs going abroad, some people call them outsourced jobs. And I believe the union situation now is fairly dire in the country. I think union membership was at one point at its peak somewhere near, was it 30% of the workforce was unionized.
There's something like that.
And now it's, what, somewhere?
Way under 13%.
Under 13, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So clearly the working class in the country is struggling. Globalization must have a big influence on that. What are we to do today, considering that situation? I mean, how can socialism or communism possibly organize against this plight of the working class?
Maybe the better question would be, how can we not organize against the assault on our standards of living and our working class rights and democratic gains? Because when we think of history too, it's not like the ruling class has ever sat in government and benevolently just given away these gains like Social Security or welfare programs or minimum wages to the working class. Every single progressive gain throughout American history has been the result of working class and mass struggle. And we've had to fight them tooth and nail to get every little inch we have. We fought them for affirmative action. Now affirmative action's under attack. We fought them to build a trade union movement. Now that's being attacked. We fought them for welfare. Now welfare is being attacked. We fought them as a class for all of these things. And one of the lessons of American history validates something said by Frederick Douglass, and that is, without struggle, there is no progress. So what do these assaults on the class, on the working class, mean for the building of the Marxist-Leninist movement today and the movement for a brighter future of peace, jobs, democracy, and socialism tomorrow? I think it's an interesting question. We face a number of concerns. In every way, shape, and form, our task today, and as part of building the communist movement, is to work for unity of the working class and to clearly identify. I'm going to let you talk, Harry, because I know you've got some answers, and so I'm going to wrap it up. I'm trying to be very general.
Harry, do you want to add something?
I should have let him grab this question first.
No.
But
Well, the unity of the working class, one of the issues that we have to confront is the divide and tactics, divide and conquer strategy of the ruling class in this country. Whether it's a division between racism, or blacks and whites, or whether it's division between workers who are basically documented and workers who are not documented. These divisions we're going to have to overcome if we're going to have a decent humanistic society.